They say silence is nothing, an empty space, a pause between words. But what if silence is not empty at all? What if silence holds the answers we spend a lifetime searching for? Silence can heal, and silence can destroy. It can bring people closer, or break them apart. It is the invisible force that decides wars, ends relationships, and transforms lives. This is the story of a man who had everything to say, but discovered that the most powerful thing in the world is to say nothing at all. Daniel Hayes was a successful corporate lawyer. His life was filled with constant noise, meetings, arguments, phone calls, deadlines. At home, the noise followed him too. The TV was always on, notifications buzzing, endless chatter. Yet deep inside, he felt empty, because in all that noise, he had forgotten the sound of silence. One evening, Daniel's life came crashing down. A heated argument with his wife ended in silence, not the healing kind, but the kind that cuts like glass. "Do you even hear yourself anymore, Daniel?" she shouted. But he didn't answer. He couldn't. Because he realized he had no idea what his own voice even sounded like, without the noise of the world echoing through it. Days later, at a train station, Daniel met an old monk. The monk watched him impatiently tapping his foot, muttering at his phone. With a calm smile, the monk said, "You fear silence. But silence is the only place you'll ever meet yourself." Daniel scoffed, but those words stayed with him, like a whisper in the storm. That night, Daniel did something strange. He turned off his phone. He sat in the dark, and for the first time in years, there was no noise. At first, it was unbearable. His mind screamed louder than any city street. Regrets, memories, fears. But then, slowly, something shifted. In the silence, he began to listen, not to the world, but to himself. Day after day, Daniel returned to silence. He went for walks without headphones. He ate meals without TV. He learned to sit with the quiet. And in that silence, he discovered truths he had been running from. The reason his marriage was falling apart. The dreams he had abandoned. The person he was meant to become. One evening, his wife sat across from him. She expected another argument, another wall of words. But instead, Daniel just listened. Really listened. For the first time in years, he didn't interrupt, didn't defend, didn't argue, and in that silence, she cried, because silence had said more than words ever could. Months passed. Daniel was still a lawyer, still busy, still surrounded by noise. But now, he carried silence with him. In silence, he found clarity before every decision. In silence, he found courage before every risk. In silence, he found strength when the world tried to break him. One day in court, Daniel faced his toughest case. The opposition shouted. The room buzzed with tension. All eyes turned to him, waiting for a fiery argument. But Daniel stood tall, and he said nothing. He waited. The silence grew uncomfortable. The shouting slowed. And in that stillness, the truth emerged, because silence had a power no voice could match. Years later, when asked about the secret to his success, Daniel didn't mention money, or hard work, or even intelligence. He simply said, "The most powerful words I've ever spoken were the ones I chose not to say. Silence is not emptiness, it is not weakness, it is not nothing. Silence is a teacher. Silence is strength. Silence is power." So the next time the world demands your voice, try giving it your silence, because sometimes The loudest thing you can say is nothing at all. The journey doesn't end here. It continues in silence, in courage, in every story we tell. Walk with us, only on Lorehaven.